conditioned to seek approval. A smile from a parent, a gold star from a teacher, applause from a crowd. We learn to crave recognition like it's oxygen. This is the illusion of external validation, the belief that worth is something others must hand to us. But relying on outside praise is a dangerous game. It can make your self-esteem fragile, easily shattered by silence or criticism. It creates a life where you're constantly performing, not living. Many never realize they're trapped in this invisible cage. They spend years crafting their image, hoping someone will notice, approve, and crown them worthy. But here's the truth. Most people are too absorbed in their own struggles to care about yours. That's not cynicism, it's freedom. When you stop expecting others to validate you, you begin to see your own potential with clearer eyes. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I respect myself? You see, the illusion isn't just that others will cheer for you, it's that they even have time to notice. People are drowning in their own doubts, distractions, and deadlines. If you're waiting for permission, you'll be waiting forever. The world isn't going to knock on your door and tell you to rise. You must rise for yourself and by yourself. That's the only way your foundation will be strong enough to last. This illusion, once broken, can feel lonely. You realize applause doesn't echo as loudly as silence, but in that silence, something else grows. Strength. When no one is watching, your actions become pure. You begin to move with intention, not performance. You stop chasing praise and start building pride from the inside out. Ask yourself this: whose voice are you trying to impress? Whose attention are you trying to earn? If that voice isn't your own, you're handing over your power. Living for the crowd is the fastest way to forget your own name. The longer you wait for someone to tell you you're good enough, the longer you delay the real work of becoming who you are. External validation is temporary. Self-respect is forever. When you act from within, you no longer need the world to clap for you. You're no longer driven by likes, views, or comments. Instead, you're fueled by something deeper, a knowing that you are showing up for yourself. There is peace in that. There is power in that. And more importantly, there is freedom in that. You begin to walk differently, not because others are watching, but because you are. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes daily reminders and mental discipline. But with each step, the illusion fades. And what's left behind is clarity. Your life is yours. You don't need to be seen to have value. You don't need to be followed to be a leader. You don't need to be approved of to be authentic. The real you isn't waiting on applause, it's waiting on action. The irony is, once you stop needing validation, others begin to notice you anyway. Why? Because confidence is not arrogance, authentic confidence. When you move without waiting for a nod, people sense it. They don't know what it is, but they're drawn to it. And yet, by that point, their approval doesn't control you anymore. You've already won the inner game. You must become your own source of pride, your own witness, your own reason. Don't let your dreams die in waiting rooms of approval. Don't keep your gifts hidden because no one clapped yet. Life isn't a stage, it's a mission. And the most important person you must prove yourself to is you. So ask yourself right now, who are you doing this for? And if the answer isn't you, why not? Whose voice have you let become louder than your own? Whose silence have you mistaken for judgment? Today is the day to reclaim your worth. Not by shouting louder, but by standing taller. The applause you're waiting for is already inside you. It's time to listen. It's time to act. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody cares. Not in the way you think they should. People are not waking up every morning wondering how they can help you fulfill your potential. They have their own fears, goals, and battles. That truth might sting at first, especially if you've been hoping someone would save you. But once you accept it, it becomes your greatest advantage. When you realize nobody is coming to rescue you, you stop waiting. You stop waiting for support, encouragement, or permission. You understand that life doesn't owe you applause for simply existing. The world doesn't slow down to notice your potential. The potential is worthless if it isn't realized. The only thing that counts is what you do with it. This is not meant to discourage you, it's meant to free you. Because if nobody truly cares, then you no longer have to live for their opinions. You can finally stop trying to impress everyone. You can stop hiding your ambition out of fear of judgment. You can stop playing small just to fit in with people who aren't even watching. When you internalize this truth, you take full control of your life. No more excuses, no more blaming parents, partners, teachers, or bosses. The weight of responsibility becomes yours alone. And yes, it's heavy. But it's also empowering, because if it's all on you, then you get to decide how far you go. Too many people stay stuck because they think they're owed something, recognition, opportunities, praise. They think those things should come just because they've been trying. But effort doesn't always equal rewards. Life pays in results, not effort. That's why you must move whether people are clapping or not. Think about it. How many people have you seen posting, complaining, or waiting to be noticed? How many people do you know who say, one day I'll show them, but never show themselves? They're hoping the world suddenly cares, but the world is too busy. Harsh as it is, nobody is coming to push you forward. You've got to push yourself. There's no shame in that. In fact, there's power in it. When you stop expecting others to care, your focus sharpens. You become efficient, strategic, relentless. You no longer waste time trying to be understood. You spend it becoming undeniable. You stop explaining and you start executing. This mindset isn't cold, it's clear. When you stop relying on external concern, your inner strength becomes your fuel. You're no longer a passenger in your own life, hoping the driver takes the right turn. You're behind the wheel. You're navigating. And even if you crash, at least it was your hands on the wheel. Here's the twist. Once you stop expecting people to care, some actually will, not because you moved with purpose. You see, results speak louder than requests. Progress is magnetic, but it only comes after you've stopped caring who's watching. Ironically, greatness shows up when you stop trying to prove anything. It's not that people are evil or cruel. They're just busy being human. Everyone's got bills, pain, dreams, and deadlines. So don't take it personally when no one checks on you. Check on yourself. Be your own motivator, your own coach, your own believer, because you'll need that belief long before anyone else offers it. This truth also forces you to clarify your why. If you're not doing it for applause, attention, or approval, why are you doing it? That answer will keep you going when the journey gets quiet, when no one asks how it's going, when no one claps for the progress. Your why has to be strong enough to survive the silence. Let go of the fantasy that someone will magically care more than you do. It's not their job. It's yours. And once you accept that, you stop hoping and start building. You stop wishing and start working. You stop begging and start becoming. That's how you rise, quietly, relentlessly, with no need to be seen. So ask yourself right now, if no one ever noticed you, would you still do the work? If no one ever clapped, would you still show up? If the answer is yes, you've already won. Because you're not driven by attention, you're driven by purpose. And that kind of drive doesn't burn out, it builds empires. You are the fire. Not the match, not the spark, not the lighter someone else flicks for you. You are the source. But too many people go through life looking for fuel outside of themselves. They chase motivation like addicts, scrolling for inspiration, watching others live their dreams. But here's the truth. Motivation fades. Fire dies out if it's not built from something deeper. External motivation is like gasoline. It burns hot and fast, but leaves you empty. You might feel lit up after a video, a quote, a compliment, but what happens the next day? When the high wears off, when the room is empty, if all your fire comes from someone else's voice, you'll never be able to stand alone. You must become your own fire, one that burns even in the dark. This fire doesn't come from hype, it comes from hunger, a hunger to grow, a hunger to improve, a hunger to win even if no one's watching. When you stop depending on motivation and start depending on discipline, you shift from a consumer to a creator. You stop waiting for the right moment and start making the moment right. That's when your inner fire becomes no one can keep your flame alive but you. You can surround yourself with inspiring people, sure. You can watch videos, read books, attend seminars. But if you don't decide to act, none of it matters. Fire isn't transferred, it's ignited. And once you realize that, you stop waiting for someone else to set you ablaze. You become the source. You become your own ignition switch. Most people look outside for reasons to act. They ask, what's my motivation? But that question puts your power in someone else's hands. The better question is, what's my standard? What kind of person do I want to be when no one is watching? When you raise your standards, you raise your life. You don't need inspiration when you've got identity. You don't wait for fuel when you are the fire. The reason so many people struggle is because they're too focused on feelings. I don't feel like it today becomes the anthem of the undisciplined. But if your fire depends on your feelings, you'll never burn consistently. Some days you won't feel like it. Some days the world will be cold and cruel, and on those days you must burn even brighter, not because you're inspired, but because you made a decision. Most people are ruled by their feelings. If they feel motivated, they move. If they feel tired, they stop. If they don't feel inspired, they sit still and wait for the mood to strike. But here's the truth. If you live by your feelings, you'll be inconsistent, unpredictable, and ultimately unreliable to yourself. The people who win are not the most passionate, they're the most disciplined. They don't wait to feel ready, they train themselves to move regardless. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. It's showing up on the hard days, the boring days, the quiet days. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. When you master it, you unlock freedom most people will never know. Desire screams loudly, but discipline whispers truth. Desire wants what feels good now. Food, comfort, praise. But discipline says you can have more than this if you wait, if you work, if you sacrifice. Discipline teaches you to delay gratification. It builds patience, resilience, and control. It's not about suffering. It's about building something solid that desire alone could never create. Let's be real. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when motivation is dead. Days when the bed feels warmer, the phone looks more entertaining, the world feels too heavy. On those days, discipline steps in like a quiet voice saying, do it anyway. That voice will never scream, but it will always be there if you train yourself to hear it. People confuse discipline with punishment. They think it's harsh or restrictive. But discipline isn't about depriving yourself, it's about directing yourself. It's the highest form of self-love because it means you're willing to endure discomfort now for a better future later. Anyone can indulge, few can delay. Those who delay, those who wait, train, and show up win. You don't build self-respect by doing what feels good. You build it by doing what's right, especially when it's hard. Think about it. When do you feel proud of yourself? Not when you quit early, not when you gave in. You feel proud when you conquered resistance, when you pushed through. Well, that's the reward discipline gives you, a version of yourself you admire. Discipline turns action into habit, and habit turns effort into identity. You don't just go to the gym, you become someone who trains. You don't just write once, you become a writer. The more you show up, the more it becomes who you are. Eventually, discipline doesn't just change your schedule, it rewires your sense of self. You stop trying to be someone and start being someone. There's a quiet pride in doing what others won't, in waking up before the world, in working while they rest, in grinding through the silence. It's not always fun, it's rarely easy, but it's always worth it because every rep, every page, every quiet victory, you're building you, and no one can take that from you. Here's the harsh truth. You will never always want to do the work. That's why you need systems, not moods, rituals, not random bursts of energy. Wanting it is a good start, but working for it is what brings it to life. Your success isn't built on emotion. It's built on execution. Discipline doesn't ask, do you feel like it? It asks, did you do it? Desires fade, excitement fades, hype fades, but discipline stays. When the party's over, when the lights go off, when no one's watching, that's when discipline shows its power. It keeps you moving when the fuel runs out. It keeps you sharp when the crowd disappears, and it will carry you farther than motivation ever could. Ask yourself, are you chasing dopamine or are you building discipline? Are you addicted to the highs or committed to the process? Do you only move when it's easy, or do you move because it's necessary? Your answers will determine your future, because the person who shows up every day, no matter how they feel, is the person who cannot be stopped. So choose discipline, not just today, but tomorrow, not just when you're inspired, but especially when you're not. Become the kind of person who doesn't need to be told twice, who doesn't negotiate with excuses, who honors their word, even in private. That kind of discipline doesn't just change your life, it builds it.